The following morning, Ashford's streets felt narrower than before, the air sharper. Whispers trailed us no matter which way we walked. It was as if the whole town had been stirred into watchfulness overnight. When Evelyn stepped into the general store to buy food for our journey, I stayed outside scanning the passers-by. A man with a slouch hat loitered by the rail office, pretending to light a pipe, though his eyes never left me. Across the way, a woman sweeping her stoop paused mid-motion, studying Evelyn with something colder than curiosity. I touched the revolver under my coat. Ashford was no longer a town. It was a trap with streets for bars. Evelyn emerged, clutching a small parcel of bread and dried meat. She caught my glance toward the watcher by the office. Her lips pressed tight, though she said nothing. We walked on together, side by side, neither daring to speak until the inn's shadow swallowed us. "They'll move tonight," I said once the door closed behind us. Evelyn lowered her voice.
"The telegraph message. Smoke will rise east. That means by rail, doesn't it?"
"By rail," I confirmed. "And if we are to follow, we must be ready." That night, the whistle of the locomotive tore through the stillness. Evelyn and I waited in silence near the far end of the yard, crouched by a row of freight wagons. The sky hung low with clouds, swallowing the stars. Lanterns bobbed like restless fireflies across the tracks as men barked orders, loading crates into boxcars. Even from a distance, I recognized the false uniformed men. They moved with a precision no common dockhand possessed, their rifles slung casually but always within reach. Evelyn's breath steamed the air as she leaned closer to me.
"There must be dozens of crates,"
she whispered.
"All of them weapons?"
"Enough to arm a regiment," I murmured. We watched as the foreman stamped documents, handing slips to the guards. One of them glanced toward the shadows where we hid, and for a moment, I thought his eyes found mine. My hand brushed my pistol, but the man turned away, barking orders to load the last car. The locomotive hissed, smoke curling like a serpent into the sky. "Now," I said. We moved low and fast, slipping toward the rear cars. Evelyn's skirts brushed the gravel, silent but swift. At the final boxcar, I heaved open the latch just wide enough for us to squeeze through. Inside, the air was thick with the smell of oil and iron. By the glow of a sliver of moonlight through a crack, I saw the truth. Rifles, stacked in straw like cordwood. Evelyn pressed a hand to her mouth, her eyes widening.
"Robert was right.
She whispered.
Every word."
The engine lurched, and the train began to crawl forward. We stumbled as the floor shuddered beneath us, then steadied. Ashford slipped away into the night, its lights fading until only the stars remained. Hours passed. The train rattled through open plains, the sound of the wheels a ceaseless thunder. Evelyn sat beside me, her face pale in the dim light. She said little, though I knew her thoughts burned. At last she spoke.
"Why do they need so many rifles, Thomas? Who would they arm?"
I hesitated. The telegraph spoke of uniforms, authority unquestioned. If I'm right, these weapons aren't bound for outlaws. They're meant for men who wear the guise of law. Her breath caught.
"A private army."
"Or worse," I said, "a force meant to bend the West to someone's will." She turned to me then, her eyes fierce despite the weariness.
"Then we must stop it."
The words were simple, but they struck deep. I had once told myself my role was only to uncover, never to interfere. Yet here, with Evelyn beside me and Robert's ghost at our heels, I knew the line had blurred. Near dawn, the train screeched to a halt. Through the cracks in the wood, I saw the lantern glow of another station, smaller than Ashford, but heavily guarded. Men in false uniforms swarmed the cars, their voices carrying orders in clipped tones. Evelyn touched my sleeve.
"They'll open this car."
"Not yet," I said. "They're moving others first." We crouched low, listening as crates were unloaded from the car ahead. My pulse pounded with each thud of wood against ground. If they opened our car, discovery was certain. Suddenly a crash echoed outside, a crate splitting open. Shouts followed, men cursing. I stole a glance through the crack. One of the rifles had spilled into the dirt, gleaming in the lantern light. The foreman barked orders to clean it up quickly. In the confusion, our car was left untouched. The train lurched forward again, rolling east into the pale light of dawn. Evelyn exhaled, her shoulders trembling with relief.
Providence.
She whispered. Or luck, I said. But in my heart, I wondered if Robert's hand had not guided us from beyond. As the sun rose over the plains, Evelyn leaned against the wooden wall, her eyes half closed from exhaustion. Yet even then, her resolve did not falter. I studied her in that light, the quiet strength, the unyielding fire. Robert's blood ran in her veins, but there was something more. She was not simply his sister. She was his equal, and perhaps more fearless still. I realized then the true weight of what bound us. Not duty alone, not vengeance for a fallen friend, but something deeper, something I dared not name aloud, lest it break the fragile balance between us. Outside, the landscape stretched endless, the rails carrying us towards secrets buried further east. The storm had not yet broken, but it was gathering, and we were already within its path.